Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an update on my project Level Up and my No Pan Left Behind. Project Level Up was started by Sophie Alexandra, and in this project you randomized an eyeshadow palette, and for level 1 you no pan left behind, which means you use every shade at least once, and you also need to hit one pan. For level 2 you use every single shade 2 times and hit 2 pans, and so on. I have decided to do levels 1, 2, and 3 and then circle back around to level 1. So let's kick it off with that. My level 2 palette is the remnants of my ColourPop Semi-Precious palette. I will put in some b-roll of what this palette looked like last month and then what this palette is looking like today. So as of the last update, I had long ago completed using every shade 2 times, and I had already hit pan on the shade Easy Go. That took 23 uses. As of the last update, I had used the second shade I am working on, which is called Upon a Star, 21 times, and I've since used it 3 more times, meaning I've used this 24 times. I did say I wanted to use this until I hit pan, or I used it 30 times, but if I'm being completely honest, I am so darn sick of reaching for this Z palette of singles, and I feel like 24 uses is good. I'm going to change it to 24 uses in 2024. Sorry if that's cheating. I know I'm not going to hit pan on this in the next 6 uses. There is a dip, but not a big enough dip. The reason I hit pan on this shade in 23 uses is I used it quite often as a liner, like a metallic red liner was so fun. This shade is what I have on my lids today. It's a beautiful neutral mauve-y kind of shimmer, but not one that I have been enjoying reaching for the last little bit. So I'm gonna call this a bit of a fail. Sorry. I did use it 24 times. Like, I've reached for this Z palette probably 50 times or more this year. That's good for me. I'm burnt out on it. This is not fun right now, and this is causing a bit of a stagnant standstill in this project, so I think it's just time. We're rolling her out. I have also been working on my level 3 palette, which is a ColourPop quad, and it is called the Mocktail Quad. So I will show you what this palette looked like as of last month and what this palette looks like today. Once again, I've only reached for this a handful of times since I last updated you. Long ago, I had completed using all 4 of these shades 3 times each, and I'm trying to use the first shade and these 2 matte shades either to hit pan on them, or we're now changing it to 24 uses, and I'm not that close on any of those goals. I have used the shade Iced 11 times, and I have reached for the 2 matte shades. This is Chaser and this is Highball. I've used them both 15 times each. So I feel like if I'm just focusing on this for the next month, I might be able to roll this out. I only need to use these shades 9 more times, and I need to reach for this gold 13 more times in order to roll this out. So I won't be rolling in level 1 again until I have either completed level 3 or at least I'm very close. We'll see where I am in the next month, but I feel better about just focusing on this. It didn't help that my level 2 shade is a very cool toned mauve shimmer, and then my level 3 palette is like super orangey red warm tones, so I couldn't really put these together. I did when I was working on Easy Go, and that was amazing for me, but now they're conflicting, they're competing, and I just didn't set myself up for success, so that's completely my fault. But going forward for Project Level Up, I'm currently just working on this level 3 palette. Moving on to No Pan Left Behind, in this portion I randomize my eyeshadow and then I must use every shade in that palette one time. I have 3 palettes in this section for 5 total in this project. Let's start off with one I haven't used yet. I rolled this in last time. This is the Fantasy Cosmetica Druid palette. Might be my favorite Fantasy Cosmetica palette. I'm not entirely sure. I am an affiliate for the brand. And I just haven't dove into these murky, grungy green tones quite yet this fall. I feel like I haven't fully stepped into fall makeup quite yet. This will be easy to do No Pan Left Behind. Create 2 or 3 looks and this is done, and that will be absolutely no trouble. So within the next month I do plan on No Pan Left Behinding this palette. Let's move into, I have miscellaneous singles in here. I'll pop up a picture of what my spread looked like last month and then this month, because I have used 2 additional singles in the last month. And that also means I only have 4 singles left to use. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. This has been so challenging for me. They've been in this project for so long, but that is a good thing because or else they go completely neglected. So I have the ColourPop Supernova shadow in the shade Constellation. This is one of their liquid shadows. I only have 2 liquid shadows left in my collection. I do not use them, and this is pretty dry. However, I did get it to work. I did not have a ton of glitter fallout, so it lives to see another day. It is very beautiful. It's like a champagne kind of color, but it has like piecey bits in here that are super reflective. It's stunning. I just don't reach for this type of product. I also reached for the Body Shop Color Crush single in Melt My Heart. This is absolutely ancient. I have no idea how old this is. It's just a very basic light gold shade. There's a bit of a dip in here. And I just topped this on when I was using my ColourPop quad one day just to knock this out because it has that similar gold vibe to it. It's a bit more neutral than the gold in my level 3 palette, so it kind of toned it down a little bit from being so warm, and the quality on here is still great. But I'm happy to have used 2 more of my singles. Can I get these done in the next month? Gosh, I hope so. And the last palette I had to No Pan Left Behind is my Odin's Eye Merry Christmas palette. So I have now officially No Pan Left Behinded this palette twice this year because I had used it quite a bit before rolling it into this project. As of the last update, I had 4 more shades to use. I believe it was All Right, Little Star, Gingerbread, and Bless. Which it's surprisingly a lot of these neutrally shades I hadn't reached for yet, but I have officially done that. I've used all of these shades 1 time and I've used 4 of the shades 2 times. So that is really good as well. I absolutely love this palette so much. You don't only have to use your Christmas palettes at Christmas time. I've used this quite a bit at very different points throughout this year and I'm able to make it work. Just because it's red and green. These warm tones were stunning in the summer. I loved these greens in the spring. I just really enjoyed working on this palette, but it has gotten quite a lot of use from me this year so far, and I'm ready to put it away for the time being. I do hope to pull it out for at least one Christmassy look in December. But that means we will be rolling out 2 palettes. So I will be rolling in 2 palettes, but they will both be for No Pan Left Behind. I'm only going to work on one Level Up palette for the time being. I do want to only roll in palettes that I haven't used yet this year because I am trying to touch all of my palettes this year. So if I roll something that I have used quite a bit so far, I will skip over it. I do have no repeats on my wheel, but I feel like it wasn't working the best. I am going to screen record for you guys this time, though I kind of hate doing that. Okay, let's do roll number 1. Odin's Eye Christmas Eve. I have definitely used quite a lot. Oh boy, that's a big one. So, Glamlight Michaela palette. I've already No Pan Left Behind it, Smokin' Roses in this project. Ooh, have I used my Coastal palette this year? I have used it once, so we are going to re-roll. I've definitely used Delicious Delights. So sorry this is taking a long time. Ooh, I have not used my ColourPop So Jaded palette, but that means we're rolling in 2 very large palettes. Okay, I'm back. We have a lot of shades to work on. So first up, I have my Glamlight and Michaela collab palette. This is the first one. I don't really watch Michaela anymore, but this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 30 pan palette. Oh boy, 2 30 pan palettes we're rolling in. Yikeroomies. This is a very fun color story. I have not reached for this very much, and I've heard from multiple people or seen multiple people's Michaela palette expired. So this will be a good opportunity. Use every single shade and see if my palette is still good. I don't have dips in any of these shades. It definitely needs some love. We have some neutrals along the top and then some fun pops of color on the bottom. I think this will be great to get some use on. I will update on my thoughts and feelings in the next update. And then the second palette is another 30 pan palette. This is the ColourPop palette So Jaded in collaboration with Kathleen Lights, and this is a fantastic color story for fall. I do love reaching for this every single fall. I love the gemstone theme of this palette, and I think this will be great to No Pan Left Behind. I'm going to let you know right now, I am not using these 2 pressed glitter shades. I pretend that those don't exist in my palette because I really find them irritating on my eyes. I'm actually very, very excited to get some use on this color story. This is one of my favorite palettes, but the size of it just is a determining factor because it takes up so much room in my everyday makeup drawer, but I have a lot of really large palettes I'm working on now. So this was actually a pretty exciting update, though I kind of went into it thinking it was a bit of a fail. I just want to get kind of started on No Pan Left Behind these. I fully expect that these are going to take quite a few months. I want to make amazing progress on my level 3 palette. Project Level Up was supposed to be my eyeshadow focus this year, and I feel like I'm slowly kind of cleaning up my other projects, removing eyeshadows from them as much as I can so I can return my focus to Project Level Up. I'm really excited to get into my Fantasy Cosmetica Druid palette, and it will only take a couple of looks to complete that, and then I have 4 single eyeshadows left to use, which I really want to buckle down and use so that I can roll into new palettes next time as well. That would be absolutely amazing. Let me know your thoughts on today's Project Pan update. I love getting feedback from you guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!